Okay, before I get started, I just want to say this clearly. There's a good chance I will not be putting any images next to anything I'm talking about because I am sick. Someone gave me a cold. This has not been my year. I've already been sick a couple of times, but I was near somebody and they gave me a freaking cold. They were sick and now I got it. Oh. Anyway, what did we... You can hear it. What did we get in this redemption? Well, this is about the first pay-per-view that we get with the new management. Now, one of the guys who's part of the new management, I think his name is Don Callis. If I'm pronouncing his name, what is it? Callois. Callis? Calcis or Calci? I don't know what his name is. I don't remember right now. I just know his name is Don. He was working with Josh Matthews, which I'm kind of surprised I didn't see Sanjay Dutt. I would have liked to see Sanjay because I'm going to be honest here. Don, when it came to Josh, didn't really mesh very well. I couldn't tell who was the heel and who was the face. It looked like Don was the heel, but then it was Josh who was the heel. Then you got Don as the face, and then you got Josh as the face. It really made things confusing. It would have been more clear-cut if one person stayed constantly heel and one stayed constantly face. Sorry for the coughing. That's what I got. So, I had to say that. But the majority of the show was not bad at all. I will say I enjoyed this show. In fact, I gotta say this. I'm not a high-flying fan. I'm just not. I like to have things that are balanced. Someone who's a grappling wrestler, someone who's a smash mouth wrestler, and a high flyer, someone who's very evenly balanced. That's the way I really think a wrestler should be. Not someone who does primarily high flying or grappling or smash mouth every single time. Because when there's always the same thing over and over again, it becomes highly repetitive. No matter how much you guys are going to say you love it, it can get on your nerves after a while. But it doesn't mean I don't like it when it's right. And in this case, because of the high flying that was going off in this show, because when you look at the WWE, they don't go that far. It was nice to see it in this show. At certain matches, I did enjoy it. Now, let's open with Drago versus, Aerostar. I have one major problem with this match. And it kind of went through most of the matches of the night. I don't know what was going on with the ring ropes. But every time when someone went to a certain ring rope, it was slick. Excuse me. It was so slick in most cases. The first match of the night with Aerostar and Drago. And I had a problem trying to see it because the stream was cutting in and out. They kept slipping off the ring ropes. And that was not good. I think at one point I was worried about Aerostar breaking his neck. And then seeing Drago whack his head so bad because I think Aerostar tried to compensate for the ropes being so slick. It really threw off the match. And subsequent matches throughout the night, there was a lot of botches because the ropes were so slick. I wasn't that much into this match. I just wasn't. I don't think it was because of slipping of the ropes, but I just feel like there wasn't anything there. Maybe due to the fact I didn't see Impact Thursday, and if they showed them their Thursday talking about redemption, then I'm cool with it. That's the reason why I was missing it. But as it stands, there wasn't none there. The match I thought was so botchy. It's like that old adage. A movie is so freaking bad, so cheesy, so horrible, it turns good. And you got LAX versus Big Papa Pump and Eli Drake. I can't do it right now. I am not feeling well. But before I get to Big Papa Pump and how he performed, you got Conan not being there because of King taking him out. Now, this is the first time I've seen Santana Ortiz showing character. This is what I've been saying for quite a long time. Ortiz and Santana need to be allowed to be themselves. They need to do ring promo segments, not these backstage or these pre-recorded segments that are not in the ring. When you see that, I don't know who it was, I think Santana got angry and Ortiz was trying to calm him down. Or it could be the flip, I can't remember right now. But it was good to see them get pissed because Konnan was not there. Now, what will happen going into this Impact is going to be a big question. Is Konnan actually gone from the company? If he is finally gone, the question is going to be, is Ortiz and Santana going to be allowed to talk, to be allowed to do promo segments, to wrestle and not job all the time? I've said this before and I'll say it again with these two guys. Throw them out there and see what they can do. See if they can sink or swim, because once Konnan is gone, these guys are going to have to handle themselves and they can't do it. What was the point of Konnan? If Konnan leaves, they might as well go with him, because this would be absolutely for nothing. But the match itself, it was funny seeing Scott Steiner wrestle. And mind you, the guy is about 55, 56 years old. He was botching all over the place. But even though he was stepping on people's hands in some cases, he was bumping into people. And Eli Drake was trying to cover for most of that stuff. But to be honest, when it comes to Scott Steiner, what you see is what you get. Him botching is the most fun part of the show. And yes, he botched. And yes, he looked sloppy. And yes, he did a Frankensteiner off the top of the ring rope and he landed with a thud. He looked like he hurt himself when he actually didn't. It was enjoyable to watch. I enjoyed it. And I'm sure anybody else is not going to enjoy it. They're going to say he needs to stop. He's just pieces of shit. It doesn't matter. In the end, yes, he's not that good of a wrestler like he used to be back in the 90s and early 2000s. He's just not. But it does not mean he still can give us something we can enjoy. Scott Steiner is Scott Steiner. And seeing that Eli Drake and Big Papa Pump won made me actually very happy. Because now that Ortiz and Santana don't have Konnan, and I know a lot of people would say, why did they do that with Konnan? Look, I don't know if he left. I don't know if this is storyline. I just know that if they're letting Ortiz and Santana have a run by themselves, short run or a long one, we're going to know if these guys had the talent to be able to handle themselves on international television, even if it is very restricted international television. Now, the 6-man, I don't even know what to call it, a match, where two guys can be in the ring at one time. If they jump out of the ring or fall out of the ring, someone can go in. And you had DJ Z, you had Trevor Lee, Ishimori, Xavier did really well. Desmond Xavier is one hell of a high-flying wrestler. He's one of the people I can see because of his ratio of having low weight but high strength. Gives him the ability to be able to fly around the ring like no one's business. He can easily give a run to Finn Balor. Honestly, people who love Finn Balor, you look at Desmond Xavier compared to Finn Balor. He outperforms Finn Balor. Finn cannot match him in sheer aerial. And I'm not an aerial fan, but I can see that Desmond Xavier can easily outperform him in aerial acrobatics. He just can. And I know Finn's not an aerial specialist, but it does not mean he can't do it. He has more charisma in some cases when he moves in the ring. That's the way I see Desmond. And then you have Phantasma and Brian Cage, which most of the match he did not go in. But when he did go in, he made the match better. You got a whole bunch of small to medium-sized guys going up against a huge guy, which really helped the match. It's not like I enjoy a 6-man match like that. It reminds me of the X Division and Destination X or Extravaganza or any of those type of matches. I just don't like watching them. At least until you put a large man in there to help compensate for things. Because it basically shakes it up. Seeing the same small guys wrestle every single time is boring, but when you throw a big guy in there, it makes it interesting. And I enjoyed the match, and in the end, it was Brian Cage who won, which is understandable. Brian Cage is hot right now. People actually like him because of what he did with Lashley. It's alright. Everyone in there has not lost anything, so everyone who thinks the X Division has now been hurt because of Brian Cage, no. I just don't see it. Now, Taya Valkyrie versus Kiera Hogan. Now, this really upset me. This was a match that upset me. Not because of the quality of the match. It was actually a good match between Taya Valkyrie and Kiera Hogan. Or Kiera Hogan, sorry. It was because of Tully Blanchard's daughter being there. Tessa Blanchard. That took away from that freaking match. It would have made more sense if Tessa Blanchard had talked with the guys at the commentator table, went down to the ring, and then messed with both of them, and then she could say whatever she wanted, being the best there is. But she spoke so much on the mic, and these guys spent more time caring about Tessa Blanchard than Taya Valkyrie and Kiera Hogan. It made the match terrible. Like I said before, you can't tell who was the good guy and who was the bad guy as it was. They kept flipping back and forth as far as I was concerned. But then they weren't even paying attention to the freaking match. And then Tessa Blanchard made this all about her. They were not saying anything about the match. And when you look at Kiera Hogan, I'm sorry, I'm really not feeling well. Kiera Hogan really did a great showing against Taya Valkyrie, who towered over her. I think she's about 4'8", 4'9". And when it comes to Taya Valkyrie, she's about 5'6", I think. Kiera is small, and she did a good job working against someone so much larger than her. In the end, of course, Taya won. But then, when it was all over, what did it mean? Tessa didn't come and mess with Taya. It would have made sense if she had messed with her and showed that she's going to be dominant when she shows up on Impact. But no, she didn't do a damn thing. And that took away from the entire situation, which really made the match, no matter how well it was done, meaningless. Now, Petey Williams versus Matt Sydal, which was a good match. But I have to admit, I wasn't expecting Matt Sydal to lose here. And I kind of wish he did. Because I really think Petey Williams should have won the title. I think he really needs it. I think they need to do something different. Now, I'm not saying Matt Sydal doesn't have some traction right now because of the way he is. But now that he's not going to be working with Josh Matthews anymore, I think it would have been better if he had lost that title and then he turned dark with this same mantra of the third eye. And he turned dark following the third eye. That would have made better sense. But we didn't get that, even though it was a very good match. The extreme match between OVE, Moose, Eddie Edwards, and Tommy Dreamer. It was a extreme match. There's not much really special about it, at least until the end. Once Eddie Edwards finally tied up, seeing Sami Callihan get his ass whooped was good. But then seeing that Eddie Edwards went too far started making you think, let's see how far they're going to go with this. And then he hits the ref. He hits Tommy Dreamer. And then he hits Alyssa, his wife. Alyssa, his wife. Knocks her out cold with the kendo stick. Which really makes it even more interesting to see what they're going to do this Thursday. What does this mean for Eddie Edwards? Where are they going to go with it? Because when it comes down to it, they got to do something with this. Because Callahan's done. They finished with him. Now what are they going to do with Eddie Edwards? Because they built this around him. That's going to be the big question. Su Yung versus Ali for the Knockouts title. Seeing Su Yung actually take off a top and just showing an under top was cool. I gotta admit, seeing that Ali won the match, I think it would have been better if Ali lost it. Because I think Allie just needs to become more aggressive. I know people say, well, no, she's already aggressive. No, she's not. She's still Allie. She still acts naive. And she needs to be more aggressive. She needs to be like a regular woman who doesn't play around with someone. Allie's a wonderful, sweet character. People love Allie. But there's a point in a character's lifespan in wrestling where they have to be tweaked more than what they are. She's not been aggressive enough. She really needs to become more dark. I'd rather see her as Cherry Bomb than see her as Allie. I'm just being honest here. Doesn't mean I hate Allie, the Allie character, but I think the Cherry Bomb character will be a lot better now. But in the end, after she won, and Braxton Sutter decided to... he decided to ask Su Yung to marry him. Why? I didn't get a chance to catch the miss, unfortunately, but once she missed him in the face, she mandible claws his ass. And I knew when I saw her put the glove on, she was going to mandible claw him. And I'm actually kind of glad to see someone do the mandible claw. I was hoping she was going to use the mandible claw on Allie. I was hoping she'd do it, but no, she doesn't on Braxton Sutter. So I can say this won't hurt her too much. But I really do believe that it would have been better if Su Yung had won. That's just me. That's just my personal feelings about things. Okay, Austin Aries versus Phoenix versus Pentagram Jr., if I'm pronouncing his name. Pentagon Jr. I'm really not feeling well. Like I said, there's possibly no way I may actually put images here. I'm just going to upload this, splice it together, and just give it to you guys because I'm still sick. But when it comes down to it, you see this match, which is a great match. This is the best match of the night. It is. And I'm not a high-flying... I don't care about high-flying matches. I just don't. It's just not me. I like a more well-balanced match. But I can't say that this match was that bad. Seeing full Lucha Libre was actually quite nice. And I mean full throttle Lucha Libre. It was actually quite good. And in the end, Pentagram Jr. is the one who won. Who's from Lucha Underground. As far as I can tell, I went to the website before I did this video, and he's not on their website. So he is still an exclusive Lucha Underground wrestler unless they are going to put him up or if he's already been signed. If he hasn't been. I'm just seeing it from this perspective. If Impact Wrestling is doing this like they did before when it was GFW, when they bring shows together to work together more often, it might fail again. Particularly that no one understands how to budget time and make sure that your show is prevalent than the other show. And more than that, that the other show helps you. Because let's say that Lucha Underground is now affiliated only with Impact Wrestling. And Impact is no longer connected with Crash or Noah, whatever. No longer connected with them. They broke ties. And it's only Lucha Underground they're working with. They better make sure that they sponsor Lucha Underground and Lucha Underground sponsors them. If they don't, this is going to be the most stupidest pairing that I've seen yet from Impact Wrestling. But this is something that could just be a one-off. And it could be that Pentagram Jr. is now part of Impact Wrestling. Because they're not going to show Lucha Underground until June. I'm sure they're going to be filming it now. But the thing is, Lucha Underground won't be seen until in June. And if they're going to be showing what's going on in Lucha Underground that's being taped right now, if it's being taped right now, what will this give us? Are we going to be going through what we did about a year or so ago? Having 2 or 3 promotions together, a global force? I'm hoping not, because we went down this route and Impact was not the emphasis. It was a joke. Now, if Pentagram Jr. is a part of Impact, that's cool. I'm fine with it. He becomes exclusive Impact. We're cool with it. Okay. If not, this was dumb. But I don't know that until we start seeing from this Impact on Thursday going forward. But taking away from that, was this a good show? Yes, it was. It actually was a good show. I actually enjoyed this show. It was nice to see some really good Lucha Underground wrestling. It was nice to see that they did make sure everyone got a little bit of a shine. And I was okay with it. Maybe also could be because I'm sick from someone that went to my physical therapy and gave me a cold. Oh, I hate being sick. But this is just my point of view. You guys, tell me how you felt about this Redemption 2018. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.